Okay, hello everybody and welcome. Welcome. So let's talk about how to use public speaking to influence positive change. And you might be wondering, why am I dressed as a giraffe? Here's what I really want you to take away from this. And there's a very serious message, although delivered lightheartedly. So yes, I'm dressed as a giraffe, and this is all about starting up, getting going. There's some established business owners already watching, so that's okay. But I'm using the giraffe outfit because to really get out there these days to influence positive change, you've got to be willing to stick your neck out. Hence me dressed as a giraffe. And we're running a whole campaign now called Be More Giraffe. Stick your neck out, be seen, be heard, use your voice for good, use your voice for the right reasons. And here's what I'm going to cover. It's about being purposeful with your business. It's about being purposeful with your speaking. And when you're purposeful, and when you are sticking your neck out for the right reasons, you are going to influence positive change. And I'm going to tell you how to do that for the next half hour. Of course, I'm going to talk about who I am a little bit more. But yes, I'm going to do this whole presentation dressed as a giraffe because A, I want you to be more giraffe. And B, I want you to use your voice for good. And C, I want you to stick your neck out. So I'm willing to sit here baking in this onesie for you. So that's my sacrifice for you. Yes. So who are we? We're Speaker Express and we're experts in business communication. What we do is we help people and business owners and startups to win more business through public speaking, whether it be online or offline. I want you to understand that never before have we collectively, entrepreneurs, business owners, whether you're concept stage, whether you're the get-go stage, have we been called on to use our voice for good. Now is the time for you to speak up, and stand for something great. Now is the time for you to launch a business that's going to do good in the world, that's going to disrupt industries, that's going to stand out like a giraffe. Now is the time to use your voice for good. A little bit about Speaker Express. So we started in a smelly basement in a pub in Kentish Town where the floors were sticky and the stairs were creaky. That's the upstairs. We were downstairs. And since 2011, where we've been going, we have grown year on year and we've always done events. We've done club nights, we do master classes, we do trainings. We are out there serving the entrepreneurial community to use the voice for good. Now, what we do is about you using public speaking as a growth strategy, a marketing strategy, and to influence industries. The fact you might get a keynote, the fact you might get booked as a speaker, that's a bonus. We're all about integrating into your marketing and your growth strategy. So if you're just starting out, it's a perfect time for you to integrate speaking, have a presence online through speaking. If you're pitching, you're speaking, right? I want you to understand that now, due to the current pandemic, we're all presenting online. So you need to let go of the whole, I'm not a speaker, because everybody's a speaker right now. We've since graduated from a smelly pub to more established venues around the country. But of course, this is the idea in London where we've done a lot of work. And of course, now everything's online. This is the team, just so you know, it's not just me, the giraffe. My name is Elliott Kay, I'm the lead trainer. I'm also the co-founder. Anik was the co-founder. She now lives in Australia and back down for the business. And those are some of the trainers and the team that we work with at Speaker Express. I just want you to take a second to think, right? A lot of you are getting going, a lot of you starting out. I know there's some people that established, that registered for the talk because you told me you're going to. What is your biggest challenge right now when it comes to speaking? Is it a matter of confidence? Is it a matter of how you say what you need to say to win business? Is it positioning? Is it pitching? Is it the language you need to use? What is your biggest challenge? I really want you to think about that for a second. Even write it down for yourself. Great. Now, here's the thing. If you want to influence positive change, you've got to be purpose driven. And your business needs to be purposeful. And that's what I'm going to talk about. And you need to lead from the front. You need to be willing to put yourself at the front. You need to be able to show up when you need to show up, stand up when you need to stand up, and vocalize whatever you need to vocalize to influence the industry that you're in, to influence the space you're in, to win the business you're going to need to win. You've got to be purpose driven when you do it. And you've got to lead from the front. You can't hide in the back anymore, because the companies that are hiding back in the back now are fading away. 44% of retail shops are destined to shut in the next 12 months. That's a scary figure. You cannot hide anymore, and nor are you immune to what's going on right now in the world. Everything we do when it comes to influencing positive change, when it comes to helping people be seen, be heard, stick their neck out, be more giraffe, comes to 6 key areas. It comes down to confidence. The confidence to stand for something, the confidence to be purposeful, the confidence to sell, the confidence to deal with rejection as well, by the way. How you communicate your brand message. How do you use your brand message to enroll people into your mission, into your campaign, into your services? Having a solid structure that wins you business. That's our signature talk. How do you get booked in the right places? How do you get seen? How do you pitch in line with your brand, your ethicals, your values, things like that? And of course, how do you build your profile? And that's what we focus on. And that's when we help people do that. And I'll give you examples later to influence positive change. It all comes around the speaker's method. We've worked with a variety of corporate and entrepreneurs and establishments, but at the heart of everything we do are entrepreneurs. We love entrepreneurs, whether you're starting out, whether you're established, because we know that entrepreneurs, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a serial entrepreneur, that we are going to influence from the ground up. We can shift things a lot quicker than politicians. And who would say right now there's a pretty big problem with politicians in the world? Yeah. One of our recent success, if any of you are following MasterChefs, the professionals, we work with Philly, who's on there, and we helped to get on there. We've helped people on Dragon's Den. We've helped people pitch and raise funding. We love doing this stuff, in case you couldn't tell. Here's an interesting one for you. 70% of people, according to Forbes, that were surveyed, attributed the growth of their business, their success, to using public speaking. 20% said they would do anything not to present. So I wonder what happened to the 10% that don't even make it on the survey. What did they say? They're certainly not being more giraffe. And here's the thing. If you're not on stage, the virtual stage, if you're not on the stage in terms of the business stage as a thought leader, the voice of your brand, or selling it, someone else is. They're standing in your spot on your stage, and I bet that they are not doing what you want to do. And I bet they don't care as much as you. So think about that. Here's why it's important to be purpose-led. In this day and age, with millennials now being in more established positions, with millennials running more and more businesses and starting more businesses, and of course, millennials are now quite old. Quite old. I mean that, you know what I'm saying? As in, you're not young anymore, because we got the next generation coming through, right? You've got to be purpose-led, because if you want to build brand loyalty, if you want to stand for something, if you want consumers and to have a future, you've got to be purpose-led. And if you're not, other consumers will find brands that are purpose-led, right? Because here's the thing, here's the problems we're facing over the next decade alone, right? And this is why you need to be purposeful with your speaking. You need to be purposeful with the business you're building. We're facing religious conflicts are here to stay. By the way, this is according to the UN. COVID-19 fallout economically and mentally. Poverty with COVID is going to actually increase. Inadequate income, discrimination. Large-scale conflicts and wars, they're going to kick in as well. Climate change, destruction of nature, as we already are seeing is going on in the world right now. Yeah. Lack of economic opportunity and employment, safety, security, well-being, lack of education, food and water security, and government accountability and transparency, corruptions. Well, do we need to look much further than what's going on in our world for number 11, right? This is why you need to be purpose-driven. If we're going to address any of those 11, if we're going to interrupt any of those 11, we must be purpose-led, and we use speaking to influence that change, because one of the greatest tools you have at your disposal right now is using speaking, is using public speaking to be more giraffe, to put your neck out and stand above the rest, and to stand for something more than just making money, is to be purposeful with your profit, to be a purposeful speaker, to be a purposeful company, so you can make a dent in those 11 points, in one of those 11 points, because you need to stand for something right now. And this is all about the Startup Scaleup Summit. And the way you do that is actually through being purpose-led. And even established businesses right now are reviewing how they're purpose-led. It's not just about CSR, right? It's about being driven from the inside out and being purpose-led and communicating that everywhere. This is what's very important, right? Every business now must take responsibility for the world we're creating. Every business, not just that business, or they'll take care of it. Every business, our business, your business, the business you're building, the business you've built, has got to take responsibility, because if we don't, the price is much greater. And one of the ways we enroll people into our purpose, we enroll people into our mission, into our vision, is through using speaking, is through standing something and communicating that, and not being afraid to stick our neck out, not being afraid to stand for something and be able to deal with what could come our way. Now, it still needs to be a viable business. It still needs to make profit, but it's about purposeful profits when it comes down to it, right? When influencing positive change, it starts with purpose and what you stand for. And I really want you to think about that for a minute. So for those of you scaling up, are you purpose-driven? Are you just profit-driven? And it's okay if you are, but what if you integrated purpose to that? A real purpose, right? Real, deep, meaningful purpose, like the 11 reasons I showed you there, that you made an impact in that way, that you impacted conflict, or you impact the economy, and you helped eradicate poverty if possible, right? You help protect water. One of the investments I'm working in, one of the companies I'm working with right now raising investment, they're in the recruitment industry, and their whole business is built to put their profits into help rescuing the ocean, right? They're a B Corp. They're a B Corp, and their profits are going to go to help rescue the ocean. The purpose they exist is to help the ocean. What they are building is a platform within the recruitment industry that will help that. So you don't need to be a hippie or, airy fairy to be purpose-led. On the contrary, you can be a shrewd, business-driven person, but you've got to care about something beyond. And here's why it's important to communicate the brand. And this has been proven again and again. When you're purpose-driven and you communicate that and you're influencing it through speaking up, standing out, through your marketing, you're actually seeing more caring, which of course creates more loyalty. Purpose-driven brands also create not just the loyalty, but longevity. Now, when you grow and you're scaling, you're growing your team, then actually employees will have more fulfillment, more joy, and they buy into you far more when you're purpose-driven. And of course, it's actually, again, been proven that purpose-driven businesses make more money. You can look at it again, not to say that every single purpose-driven will make all the money, but they make more money because they stand for something more than money, which means everything you do in the business stands for something, which means when you're standing on stage, virtually or not, when you are being more giraffe, when you are putting your neck out and you stand for something greater, it actually generates more revenues. Doesn't mean it's an immediate thing, but in the long run. And I am going to give you a couple of examples there as well. There is a sweet spot. Purpose-driven, profit, they meet in the middle. That's a sweet spot. When you have both, then you have a sweet spot. Why? Because there's something beyond just making money, but the money's helping that make it happen. Therefore, you're able to contribute and do more in this world. You're able to help, support, and encourage change. You're influencing for good, and you're using speaking to help drive that, right? So two really great examples, and a lot of you probably know Tom's Shoes if you don't check them out, but also there's Who Gives a Crap. And there's many, many companies, but these are two of the leading ones I think are great examples. So Who Gives a Crap do toilet paper, they do tissue, right? If you've never heard of Who Gives a Crap, that's what they do. Who gives a crap? Well, they give a crap. Now their product is toilet paper, their core product. They also do tissues and other things around paper. They've removed all the nasties. It's recycled paper. It's very good for the environment. But here's the interesting thing. They exist to give 50%, right? 50% of their profits to WaterAid. So really, The reason they exist is to support water aid and to help the challenge with water around the world. And then there's Tom Shoes, right? So originally when it started out, for every pair of shoes that was bought, they would give a pair of shoes to someone who doesn't have one. And as a result of that, they've grown exponentially. They are worth millions and millions and millions. They have different challenges because at some point they got criticized for taking away jobs because they were giving shoes, and then they've looked to address that. But the reason they exist was to provide. They took the money they made and they provided. Who gives a crap? You buy their product, you're supporting a great cause. So the more you can think to be purpose-driven, purpose-led, actually, the more good you'll do, and actually you'll be profitable. It takes time. And if you watch the Who Gives a Crap launch video, it's very, very clever because actually the founder sits on the toilet for 24 hours until they raise the money they needed to get going. And it's a really interesting idea. So do, Google Who Gives a Crap launch campaign because it's good. Now, these are kind of the two leaders. There's lots of little ones that do that. There's lots of like teddy bear making ones and other companies that produce products purposely, and they talk about their purpose every chance they get, and they communicate that to influence change in industries so they can actually not just obviously make money, but they can do good. There's a chocolate factory in Holland that pays the farmers fair wages. So they exist to provide fair wages to the farmers. I can't remember the exact name. I think it's Ted's Chocolate or something like that. Yeah. So I really want you to think deep and hard about this. For those who are already doing this, fabulous. For those who are starting out, great. And if you're scaling, how purpose-driven are you? And I really want you to think about that. Great. So when I talk about using public speaking to influence positive change, what am I saying, right? Yes, the core of your business is purposeful. Yes, what you stand for, you need to vocalize. You need to be more giraffe. You need to stick your neck out, stand head and shoulders above the rest. Remember Elon Musk, when he talked about being purpose-driven and not profit-driven, all the shareholders went crazy. But actually what happened was their shares went up because the car stood for something more than just that. Remember that. So it's the confidence to sell and tell your vision, your mission, and what you stand for. It's about building a brand that stands for something beyond business growth, something beyond making money. We stand for use your voice for good. That's why we do it. And we do a lot of work with various charities and a lot of organizations about using the voice for good, right? It's about having a solid structure to deliver the message with. That's key. You don't want to waste people's time. You don't want to fluff. It's having a solid structure that allows you to do that and speak everywhere about it. We attract who we attract. People are getting to know our hashtag, use your voice for good. People are starting to get to know be more giraffe, right? Because it's everywhere in everything we do. You got to get used to pitching and rejection. Just because you're purpose driven doesn't mean everybody's going to fall at your feet, right? So I really want you to understand that you've got to learn to deal with rejection, but also you've got to get used to selling. And when you stand for something greater, you need to sell the concept, the purpose. You've got to get used to pitching. You've got to speak everywhere. Stage time, every time someone's offered you stage time, of course, because it's a chance to educate and enlighten people. You need to be brave, you need to be bold, and you need to accept progress over perfection. Let go of perfection. Let go of everything being utopic and everything coming to this, amazing ending. No, it's like you got to keep making progress, growing. And of course, always using your voice for good. That's how you influence positive change using public speaking. I want to just quickly, as I start to wrap this up, I want you to hashtag not be Kodak. Hashtag be more giraffe, hashtag use your voice for good, but hashtag do not do a Kodak. So what do I mean by that, right? So Kodak were the biggest photography company in the world, right? They were so untouchable, it was scary. Then in 1975, the first digital camera comes along. And they go, whatever. Just keep that a secret, please. Let's just not tell anyone about that. They change nothing. They don't think forwards, right? They don't think, oh, yeah, we should take this seriously. Then in 1981, one of their greatest rivals releases the first digital camera to market. So they go, ooh, Sony are doing something. Let's do some research. Let's check the impact here. So they do some research and they come back with some good and bad news. The good news is it's going to take 10 years for us, for the customers to catch on, for the customer to really change its behavior. The bad news is it's going to take 10 years. What are we doing about it? So they had a decade to prepare, a whole 10 years. And keep in mind, they had resources, they had money, they had everything they needed to change, but they did nothing. Instead of going, digital cameras, that will catch on. Digital cameras, we can work, we can improve. We have such a great share of the market. Why don't we release our own digital camera? Oh, no. What do? They improve the technology of their film, of the film. They were told they've got 10 years for the film to start disappearing, but they did nothing. It didn't move with the times. It didn't shift. It didn't think beyond its own existence. It didn't think purpose. It didn't think, this digital thing is catching on. Maybe we should take note. No, they didn't. So what happened is in 2007, right, 32 years after the first digital camera came out, after warning time and time again, after seeing them lose more and more of the market share, in 2007, they tried a comeback. And they launched a whole campaign, a whole marketing campaign. We've changed, we've evolved, we've caught up with the times, we're here, we're this, we're that, right? Didn't work. Kodak became redundant. They became redundant. And then in 2012, they filed for bankruptcy. So yeah, there's this tiny little bit left of Kodak. Sure, you can get a Kodak camera in airports. But what I want you to think about, right, is, are you with the times? Are you moving with the times? Are you setting a business up that's going to be around not only in 12 months, but in 5 years? And are you standing something for more than your own existence? Because that's what Kodak did. They only worried about their own existence. They didn't care beyond. I'm not saying they didn't do good work, but they didn't have purpose. They didn't have something greater beyond Kodak. They grew, and then they thought they were untouchable. And then time caught up with them. And now in the pandemic, if you want to stand out, you want to put your neck out, you want to be more giraffe, you need to stand for something greater than that. Okay? So what I'd really love to do is I really want you to think how you could be more giraffe. I really want you to think how you can use your voice for good. How can you get your business to stand for something beyond? How can you not be like Kodak, right? And we work with a variety of business owners. We work with a variety of people to help them do that, whether you're a corporate trainer, you want to go in, do mindfulness. That's Lizzie. She worked with us. Whether you're a chef and you want to use your cooking skills and technology to eradicate world hunger, to use technology to help people with poverty, which is what Angela wants to do. It really does depend what you want to do. However, please, more than anything, stand for something, be more giraffe, right? And use your voice for good. That's me. That's how you use public speaking to influence positive change. Thank you for listening, for watching, and being a part of this. I wish you all the luck in the world, and I hope to hear from you. If you want to find out anything more, here's how you do it. If you want to contact me, here's how you do it. I'll be at the stand. I'll be around. Thank you very much, and good luck with everything.